You are watching a football match. The score is level, the tension is unbearable, and then something happens that nobody can believe. Not the goal, not the save, something else entirely. Something that stops the game, breaks the internet, and gets talked about for decades. Football has given us moments of pure genius, but it has also given us moments of pure chaos. Scandals that shook governments, bites that made global headlines, headbutts in World Cup finals, match fixing that brought down entire leagues. This is every major football controversy explained in 10 minutes. Start with the one that started everything. Mexico, 1986. Argentina versus England. The two nations had fought a real war just 4 years earlier over the Falkland Islands. The tension in that stadium was not just about football. Diego Maradona received the ball in the penalty area. He raised his left fist and punched it into the net. The referee, Ali bin Nasser, saw nothing. The goal stood. Minutes later, Maradona scored what would be voted the goal of the century with a genuine solo run that beat 5 players. In the post-match press conference, he described the first goal as a little with the head of Maradona and a little with the hand of God. It became the most famous quote in football history. England were eliminated. Argentina went on to win the World Cup, and bin Nasser, the referee who missed it, never officiated another World Cup match again. Fast forward to Paris, 2006, the World Cup final, Italy versus France. Extra time, the entire planet watching. Zinedine Zidane, playing the last match of his career, the greatest French footballer who ever lived, walked up behind Italian defender Marco Materazzi and headbutted him directly in the chest. Materazzi fell. Zidane was shown a red card and walked off the pitch, past the World Cup trophy he would never touch. Italy won on penalties. Zidane later confirmed Materazzi had insulted his sister and his mother. Materazzi admitted he said something provocative, but claimed he did not know what Zidane's mother's illness was. The moment was beamed around the world in slow motion, freeze-framed, turned into a statue in Paris, and argued about ever since. One headbutt ended one of the greatest careers in football history in the worst possible way. Now go to Turin, 2006, the same year. A different kind of scandal, Calciopoli. Italian investigators had been tapping telephone calls of football executives for months as part of a separate criminal investigation when they stumbled onto something unexpected. The recordings revealed that Juventus general manager Luciano Moggi had been in regular contact with referee designators, influencing which referees were assigned to which matches. The conversations were explicit. Moggi was effectively choosing the officials for Juventus games. The investigation expanded. AC Milan, Fiorentina, Lazio, and Regina were all implicated. Juventus, who had just won back-to-back Serie A titles, were stripped of both championships, relegated to Serie B for the first time in their history, and docked points. Moggi was banned from football for life. It was the biggest match-fixing scandal in the history of European football, and it shook Italy to its core. Moved to Manchester, 1995. Eric Cantona, the most charismatic player of his era, had just been shown a red card in a Premier League match between Manchester United and Crystal Palace. As he walked off the pitch along the touchline, a Crystal Palace supporter named Matthew Simmons ran down to the front of the stands and directed abuse at him. Cantona launched himself over the advertising hoarding and delivered a 2-footed kung fu kick directly into the man's chest, followed by several punches. The incident was caught on camera from multiple angles. Cantona was banned for 8 months, fined, and sentenced to community service. The judge initially sentenced him to jail before reducing it on appeal. The Football Association extended his ban. He missed most of the following season. Manchester United still won the title. Cantona returned, won the Player of the Year award, and led United to the double. But the kick became one of the most replayed images in football history. Go to Seoul, 2002. The World Cup co-hosted by South Korea and Japan. South Korea made history by reaching the semifinals, becoming the first Asian team to do so. But the route they took caused an eruption of controversy that lasted years. Spain had a goal disallowed for a supposed offside that replays showed was clearly onside. Italy had a golden goal disallowed for a foul that most analysts said did not happen, and then Totti was given a second yellow card for diving that looked extremely harsh. Portugal were knocked out after what their players and coach described as one of the worst refereed matches in World Cup history. The referee for the Spain match, Gamal Al-Gandour of Egypt, and the referee for the Italy match, Byron Moreno of Ecuador, both faced serious scrutiny. Moreno was later arrested in the United States, attempting to smuggle heroin, and was jailed. FIFA never officially acknowledged any wrongdoing. South Korea's remarkable run remains one of the most debated chapters in World Cup history. Move to Liverpool, 2013. Luis Suarez, already one of the most controversial players in world football, bit Chelsea defender Branislav Ivanovic on the arm during a Premier League match. He had previously bitten PSV Eindhoven midfielder Otman Bakal in 2010 while playing for Ajax, and had been banned for 7 matches. This was his second biting incident. He received a 10-match ban. The following year, at the 2014 World Cup in Brazil, playing for Uruguay against Italy, Suarez bit Italian defender Giorgio Chiellini on the shoulder. Chiellini immediately pulled down his shirt collar and showed the bite marks to the referee. Suarez denied it, claimed he had fallen and his teeth had accidentally made contact with Chiellini's shoulder. FIFA banned him for 4 months and 9 international matches. He was banned from all football-related activity, not allowed in stadiums, not allowed to train. Barcelona still signed him for €75 million 3 weeks later. The image of Chiellini pulling down his collar became one of the most iconic photographs of any World Cup. Go to London, 2011. A different kind of controversy. Not a bite, not a headbutt, not a referee decision. Words. Liverpool defender Glenn Johnson received a message from his teammate Luis Suarez during the investigation into an incident between Suarez and Manchester United's Patrice Evra. The Football Association found Suarez guilty of racially abusing Evra and banned him for 8 matches. When the two teams met at Anfield in the following season, Evra offered his hand for the pre-match handshake. Suarez refused to shake it and walked straight past him. Liverpool initially backed Suarez publicly, with players wearing shirts bearing his name and image. The club later issued an apology. The handshake refusal was watched by millions and became a defining image of the tension that the case had created. Now go to Italy, 2019. In a Champions League qualifying match, Brescia midfielder Mario Balotelli was subjected to racist chanting from sections of the Verona support. He kicked the ball into the stand and made as if to walk off the pitch. He was talked back by his teammates. After the match, he stated publicly that he had wanted to leave the field. Racist incidents in Italian football had been recurring for years. AC Milan, Juventus, and Inter had all faced touchline orders to stop play or close stands due to racist chanting directed at their own players and at opponents. UEFA fines for racist incidents were widely criticized as too small to act as genuine deterrents. Some clubs were fined less money for racist chanting by their supporters than for throwing a water bottle onto the pitch. The issue was not one incident. It was a pattern that the sport's governing bodies consistently failed to address with proportionate punishment. Go to Qatar, 2022. The World Cup itself was the controversy. FIFA had awarded the 2022 World Cup to Qatar in 2010 in a vote that was later scrutinized by the longest and most detailed corruption investigation in sports history. Swiss authorities raided FIFA's headquarters in Zurich. Multiple executives were arrested at their hotel during a FIFA Congress in the same building. Chuck Blazer, the former CONCACAF General Secretary and FIFA Executive Committee member, admitted to accepting bribes in connection with the selection of the 1994 and 1998 World Cups, and confirmed that other committee members had accepted payments in relation to the 2010 World Cup award. Sepp Blatter, FIFA's president for 17 years, was banned from football. Qatar itself faced sustained criticism over the treatment of migrant workers who built the stadiums, over laws that criminalized same-sex relationships, and over the deaths of workers during construction. Estimates of worker deaths ranged from dozens to over 6,000, depending on the methodology used. The tournament was played, the football was extraordinary, and the questions about how it got there never went away. And then there is the European Super League. April 2021. 12 of Europe's biggest clubs, including Real Madrid, Barcelona, Juventus, Manchester United, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, Manchester City, Tottenham, Atletico Madrid, AC Milan, and Inter Milan, announced they were forming a breakaway competition that would guarantee them permanent membership regardless of their domestic league performance. The announcement happened on a Sunday night. By Wednesday, all 6 English clubs had withdrawn. The Italian and Spanish clubs held on longer. Juventus and the Spanish clubs pursued legal challenges for months. The reaction from fans, players, managers, and governments was immediate and overwhelming. Boris Johnson called it a cartel. UEFA threatened to ban participating players from the Euros and the World Cup. Gary Neville, on live television, described it as an absolute disgrace. Chelsea fans protested outside Stamford Bridge. The Super League collapsed within 72 hours of its announcement. But the legal battles continued, and the financial pressures that produced it never disappeared. You started this video thinking football controversies were just about bad refereeing. They are not. They are bites and headbutts and corruption investigations and racist abuse and billion-dollar power grabs and World Cups built on questions that have never been fully answered. The controversies are not interruptions to the beautiful game. They are part of it. And the next one is already coming.